Thank you for joining the ITS training video series. Today we are going to cover adding a new user and setting user permissions. So if we take a look at our main dispatch panel, we're going to access adding a new user through the administration settings. If you go down to users, we'll see that we have a list of all of the users that are already in the system. To add a new user, we simply look to the left-hand corner and click on the Add button, which will open up the Add User profile box. This is where we're going to enter in all of the details that are required to set up a new user. So we do have to select a username. Generally speaking, if you have multiple users, it's good to use a formula of some sort. What we suggest maybe is to use a first name, all in lowercase, or some other sort of way that every single new user will have a similar username, making it easier for the administrator to handle any details that require after the fact. So today we're going to set up a gentleman Alex. We're going to put in a password. The passwords are encrypted, so you won't see the password once you type it in. So you do have to remember, if you are using any capitals or any numbers, that it is case sensitive for when you're entering in any of the users. We're going to enter in the user's first name, last name. We're going to select the office that the user is working out of. If there are multiple offices, you need to make sure that they're assigned to the right one. We're going to put in the user's address. Now these are all required fields. You will see here that there's a little red asterisk beside these fields. These are required fields, and you cannot save the user profile unless this information is put in the system. We're going to select the country. We're going to select the state, and of course the city, followed by the zip code. We're going to put in the email address. And the user's phone number. Once you've entered in this information, generally speaking, the administrator, the person who sets up the account, will be the primary contact, and the accounting contact will be someone assigned by the administrator as well. Could be the same person, but sometimes they're different. If you have this selected, you will notice that there's a little blue character and a red character there. The primary contact is the person who will call for any specific account details, like adding or subtracting new users. And the primary accounting contact will be the person that we contact about any billing issues. Once we've entered that, we enter the advanced section. This is where we will set some of the various settings that will be used by that particular user. Driver pay. If you wish to have that person be able to access driver pay details in the system when they're setting up a load, you'll click this button. Pending loads. This is an administrative setting that can be set so that that user can only create pending loads, and they must be approved by an administrator. Generally speaking, if you have a dispatcher, you don't necessarily want this to be on there because it will make it that it's time consuming for them to enter in the loads and for you to approve them. So it all depends on the workflow process. Printing pending loads. That's exactly what it says, being able to print loads that are in a pending status before they're actually open. Saving the user search, that is specific more to the truck stop, so it saves any searches that you do to the truck stop and can pull them up later. Editing driver additions and deductions, that's in the load setup. How many records we'd like to show on the truck stop, searches. If you have the sales manager portion of the program, you can include that user in email morning sales updates, or include them in the morning sales overview and their calendar view daily, weekly, or monthly. The statuses of active and inactive, you can change this back and forth depending on the status of that employee. If that employee for a period of time maybe is on a leave of absence or gets let go, you can make them inactive, so this way their profiles are still in the system, but they cannot access the system or log in with their credentials. So once we have all of the details in there and we're happy with that, we can press save, and that's going to add a new user, as we can see here. Once we've added a new user, of course, we can continue to go back in and make any adjustments that we need to make. And we can add any documentation that is associated. Maybe it could be an employment contract or any photocopy of a driver's license by using the file storage feature if you have that activated in your system. Once we have the user set up, we need to set the permissions correctly. As you can see here right now, the permissions for this new user is defaulted to administrator. That means he has access to all of the functions of the ITS program. If this person was to not require access to all of those steps, you can change the settings to either dispatcher or sales rep, or you can choose custom permissions. An administrator has access to all sections of the program, including accounting and reports. A dispatcher has access to only create new loads and to access the administration panel to create new customers, carriers, drivers, and any other database entries such as shippers and consignees. However, they cannot do any accounting or any reports. So these two functions will be removed for a dispatcher. For either an administrator or a dispatcher, either one, they can be assigned as a sales rep. When they are assigned as a sales rep, that will add the ability to pay those two sections commissions. If you have someone selected only as a sales rep, they will only be able to access loads that are in that sales rep's name. And I'll show you that in one moment where that section applies. For custom permissions, you can see here that there's various custom permissions that you can set. You can lock or unlock various sets of administrative tools, accounting tools, and load tools for each individual employee. If you don't have anything specific that you're looking to do with the custom permissions, my suggestion would be to stay out of that section and to use the default sections of sales rep, dispatcher, or administrator. That usually will cover all areas of permissions that you would need, unless there's something very specific that you need to do, and we can help you with that. You can call our training and support department, and we can walk you through to make sure that there's no conflicts in permissions that will limit the use of the program. So we're going to set this person up as a dispatcher and a sales rep. So they're going to be able to set up loads, create new customers for all other users. They're going to be able to see all loads on the system, and they're also going to be able to pay commissions. So we're going to take a look at the commission setup. We can close this box here and go back into the details for this new user. We see here now that there's a new box opened up that says commissions. If we click on that, we can add a new pay schedule. So your pay schedule is totally up to you. You can set a default commission schedule that will apply to all commissions being paid to that particular user. The status, of course, active and inactive. The pay type, you can do gross margin, base rate margin, or advanced commission. And if you need more explanation on what those are, you can feel free to call our training support department once again. So let's say that we're going to pay this user 50% of the profit, the margin. We can set them up at margin, put in 50%. This area here for second commission, when we set that up, if we choose this, that means that the commissions that are paid, if there's more than one sales rep on the load, will total the amount that they are including in here for commissions, as opposed to being calculated separately. So we can save this, and we can also add files, as you can see, and that's going to add a new commission structure for that. We're going to show you the area of where we can add customer for sales reps. If we take a look at the customer setup, we can select a customer here, take a look at the advanced section, and we can assign a sales rep to that customer. Anytime you assign a sales rep to that customer, they become the default sales rep for that customer, but also if that person is selected only as a sales rep, these are the only customers that they will be able to see. They will not be able to see any loads or any customer details for other customers that are not assigned to them or assigned to someone else. If you have any questions about adding a new user or setting custom permissions, feel free to call our training support department. We're open once again from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, and our phone number is 888-338-9656.